Oscar gave me a little thing. It was no big deal, really, but thank you for mentioning that. Hello?
I quit.
Give it up. Amazing, amazing. How are you guys doing this afternoon? This beautiful Sunday afternoon.
Having a great time.
Oh, Milo, this is great.
Yeah, this is a really nice city. We'd love to see it sometime. It's a hotel, convention, but beautiful. The old buildings, bricks and stuff. I mean, we're suckers for that.
We love I especially love the names of a lot of the businesses on these older buildings, like Stumpy's, wine and something. I don't know. Big Herms.
Little Herms, I like that one. You know?
Yeah.
At what age did you really start doing voices and realize that, hey, I'm pretty good at this, and not just, something, oh, okay, they'll do this for fun. But when did you realize that I'm pretty good at doing voices?
Well, my mother told me that when I was born, I came out and impersonated the doctor.
It's a boy.
Oh, I thought I'd try that out. That is stupid of me, but I did. To answer that, I had a penchant for doing sounds, and eventually it turned into doing people. And when I was a kid in grade school, I used to get in trouble all the time because I would impersonate anything that I heard that was different. And I would do it out loud in the class, and I would always be sent to detention or getting the ruler. And eventually I just started doing it because it attracted a lot of attention.
Absolutely true. Class clown, I imagine, right? Yeah. Same thing for me, exactly as Peter. And I remember starting out with, I think, probably animal sounds first, and then doing people and friends, telephones of friends, parents, the whole shot, and then spending time in the principal's office.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When you're doing something you love, you never work a day in your life.
Absolutely.
So I've been unemployed for for years and years and years.
So what would you recommend to somebody who maybe is a little mischievous in class and is, making noises, doing impersonations of their teacher or principal or, of friends? What recommendation would you give to guide them down a path that could actually lead to a career as opposed to just mischief?
Well, and I've said this before because it affected me, and I would say the first thing you want to do if you're interested in voices or really anything in life is read. Read everything you can get your hands on, and then if you're interested in voices, read aloud, And then if you're actually doing noises, you want to do that, you actually want to make it a career, let your imagination go. And usually it starts with doing impersonations, which is fine. That gets you started. But then you want to start working on your own characters, creating your own sounds, your own characters. But just, let your imagination go. You can do it,
Yeah, I agree. And except for one thing, I think when you're in school and at home you can get away with it. But in school, you can only take it as far as you get to be disciplined. just you have to know just where to stop.
But if you do end up in the principal's office, you're on your
You're
way.
going a little too far. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we're here to talk about a little show called Transformers. Is anybody familiar? So when you were auditioning, or even when you got the role for this Robots in Disguise cartoon, did you think that you would be here in 2020 talking about that show, that TV show from 1984?
No.
No. No, not even a little bit. No. I don't know what the answer would that would be. Frank and I can't speak for him because he's done 10 times as many animated series as I have.
That's not true.
But-
He
oh,
could
yeah,
speak for me and sound exactly like me.
So you could take the rest of the day off, and it would just be.
That's when you're not looking. Yeah. What was the question?
Did you?
I
Think
love
that,
doing that to Peter, by the way.
Did you think that in 1984, when you got the role for Transformers, that it would be such a big deal, or when did you realize that it was a big deal?
Yeah. Okay. We did so many auditions, and we did so many shows, and some of them would last, and some of them wouldn't. One show I met Frank. My first show that I met him on was Mighty Man and Yuck. Mighty Man was a little miniature superhero, and Yuck was the ugliest dog in the world. So ugly that he had to wear a dog house over his head.
Never saw him, just the doghouse.
Just a dog. And the Mighty Man, who sounded like Bing Crosby, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, blah, blah, blah. And he would tell Yuck not to take the doghouse off because he's so ugly that it would cause mayhem, chaos, literally destruction. And I'd say, no, Yuck, don't take off the dog. And all hell would break loose.
It was typecasting, by the way. Yeah. One of my fastest auditions. You are ugly.
So shows like that didn't last, that was
That's
it.
a
They were
one
gone.
season, I think.
Yeah, one season. And so when you get an audition like Transformers, and it's a funny thing, I said, I got an audition for a truck today, when you don't think it's going to go anywhere because you're so used to that. So,
And when Peter was saying, at the time, this was like the renaissance for animation for all of us. I mean, it really, there was just a handful of us doing voices. So we were really, really busy, and you'd run into a show and boom, boom, and you're gone. And Transformers was interesting. I remember going in, shh, be quiet now, Daddy's talking. But we just had this table full of all these different Transformers, and it was just fun, just looking at them. But I never really thought that this would be like the wonderful legacy show that it has turned into be. Yeah.
Would you guys like to take some questions from the audience?
Certainly.
as long as they're not too difficult.
Hello.
Excuse me, gentlemen. I am the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, Sam Newsman. And before the Transformers questions come rolling in, Just want to ask you, Mr. Welker, if you could just do that voice that my wife does every time she starts talking. I mean, Dr. Claw.
I would be more than happy to. And all right. I am Dr. Claw. You must find Inspector Gadget and turn him into me. Yes!
That's great.
Sounds just like my wife.
Sounds just like her. Thank you so much.
Thank you. By the way, Dr. Claw might have a slight resemblance to another voice you might have recognized. Soundwave. I am Soundwave.
Hello.
Hi. So, lifelong fan of Transformers. Thank you for being a part of my childhood. Now, my question is, over the years, Optimus and Megatron have gone through many different versions, and although their voices have stayed about the same for the most part, their personalities have changed quite a bit. I was wondering if one particular version, and this goes to each of you, of your characters was your favorite to voice.
Well, definitely Optimus Prime for me. And we're going back to the Generation 1, back in the 1984 and 85, before the movie. It was a different time. There were fun times for me those couple of years before I died in it. And
Never forgot that, have you?
and working with all the guys, Frank and I worked with a whole bunch of guys. We'd all be in the same studio, standing behind mics facing a glass, window, looking into the control room where we would be directed. And they were fun times. They were really memorably fun times. And is that a word, memorably? I'd look that up, Mr. Cullen. Okay, memorable. And they were memorable times, and we had so much fun. So there would be times when we'd be doing a script, and a line would come out, and it would be like a line that John Wayne would have said in a movie like that we had just seen or something, and then of course I'd go on and do a John Wayne as Optimus Prime, and then he'd throw in a Gabby Hayes or
Walter Beenan.
or Walter.
Dad, Vernon, I just can't seem to get this leg working.
So we'd go through a few of those and create a little excitement in the studio, and sometimes these guys didn't even pick up on that. The director wouldn't pick up on it.
Yeah, hopefully, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. But then it was there, and somebody said to me one time, he says, "You did John Wayne. That's your Optimus Prime is John Wayne, isn't he?" And I said, "No, but you must have heard that show, But every now and then I'd throw in a character like that.
I think for me, obviously, like Peter, I think loved Optimus Prime. I love Megatron, and Megatron has gone through quite a bit of change. Where Optimus has always been that beautiful voice, which is Peter, and it hasn't changed. But I mean, it's truly. I mean, Optimus Prime. Come on, really, it's such a great voice. But Megatron started out in G1. Sort of, I am Megatron, leader of the Decepticons. And I had sort of a kind of scratchy voice. Then we sort of started transforming into Prime, our Prime version. He was a little bit more human sounding and lost a little bit of this. Then we went into the features, and he was Galvatron. Then from Galvatron, he turned back into Megatron, leader of the Decepticons. But I enjoyed them all, to be honest with you. Thank you.
Hello.
Now, I want to be a voice actor. I want to be, a very good. So what's the best advice becoming a voice actor?
Gosh, Well, it's a great life. And like I said earlier, if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. You know, it's just fun. That's not always true, but nonetheless, encourage yourself by keeping at it
All right.
and never give up.
I'll keep trying.
Yeah.
Record
Never give up.
different voices, you know, listen to yourself.
I know
over and
you
over.
did the voice of kill your short monkey noises.
Uh-huh.
Do it.
Hey. All right. You just remind me of my director.
You over there.
But yeah, Curious George.
That's why I call him the king. He is the king.
I just thought if Megatron had a pet.
Hello.
Thank you, by the way. Thank you.
Hello again, Mr. Welker. Why you guys didn't reprise your roles as both Eeyore and Baby Kermit in the reboots of Winnie the Pooh and the Muppet Babies?
Well, you know, you guys are the ultimate decision makers. And, you know, we're actors and we hope to go in and work and do our jobs and that everybody enjoys them. But sometimes there's other things that come into play. I mean, obviously, there are businesses and companies and decisions are made that are for certain reasons. But I think both Peter and I love what we do, and we'd love to go back in and do those voices.
And of course, I enjoy doing Baby Kermit. That was a lot of fun, but sometimes when there's a whole new group of people, they want to be with people that they know. So I guess I have to go out on my own lily pad. How about you, Peter?
Oh, gee whiz. You just make everything sound so nice.
I like you.
I like you too.
Thank you very much for that question. We appreciate it, don't we?
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Baby Kermit and Eeyore.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye, and thank you very
Hello.
much.
Hi, I'm a little short for the mic, sorry. You both have such a wide range of characters and properties you've been associated with, and the comic books are starting to explore crossing over some of these properties with Transformers. What other property that you have worked on would you like to see cross paths with Transformers?
Oh, we did one. I don't know if you saw it, but Scooby-Doo was Supernatural. It was so much fun, and those guys, I guess they had an absolute blast. We didn't work together, but we read the scripts together, and then we worked, you know, or read the scripts and then worked individually. But the product, oh, it was so much fun. And their guys that came in from their show, not the stars themselves, but the people that were associated with the show, they just had a blast, and so did we. I think that's a great question, by the way, and I hope we do more, and I hope Transformers, we could do that. Go into some other shows, you know?
Yeah, as long as Netflix doesn't do it.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. So while recording, what was your favorite line to say?
Transformers?
My favorite line?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Well, I loved Hold On to Your Dreams. The future is built on dreams. I love that one. I love the Till All Are One. I love that line. Yeah. And I also like one shall stand, one shall fall.
Well, I kind of like power through tyranny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Caleb, and I have a few questions for you. Do you just one? Do I just want only one? Oh man, I have to pick. Okay, fine then. All right, fine then. I have a few good questions, but I'll just stick with the one. If you have any Transformers figures of your characters, how many of them do you have, and which one's your favorite?
That's a good question.
Because I'm personally a collector myself.
I've got my first Transformers truck, the Generation 1, the Kenwood, at the truck and trailer. I have that. And I had the Ironhide wagon van that I used to stick inside the truck. And then I kept it in my den. And one day, years later, I went to look for it, and I couldn't find it. And then I started finding pieces of it that maybe somebody took it apart and didn't know how to put it back together again. And I think it was somebody who was staying in my house while I was away. And they didn't understand Transformers. They didn't know what it was all about. But I found them all eventually, and I couldn't put it back together myself. But I still have those two, and in pieces. Still, since 1984.
Well, I have the, let me rephrase that. I had the P-38, which was, again, a little difficult for me to operate. So I had a little friend from next door, about maybe 3 or 4.
One of those Rubik Cube guys. Oh, I hate them.
Do it again. Do it again. And he eventually ended up with that. And I wish I had it today. But right now, I've just had a lot of the, some newer things that I've received. But I sure wish I had that P-38.
Yeah, that reminds me of with me and my friend. He has some Transformers toys, and he'll be like, I don't know how to work this. There you go. He'll be like, wow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Good afternoon. My question is for Mr. Welker.
How would you go about taking down an inept leader?
I'm trying to digest the question. I would think of my friend, Sky. I'm trying to think of some words that I would use to take him down. I would just say, I am the leader. You obey me, or you will be destroyed, and you will have to join the Autobots.
Thank you.
My question is for both Mr. Cullen and Mr. Welker. In G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, you voiced Friends in the episode Operation Mind Menace. What was it like to voice Friends as the characters Airborne and Flash, rather than enemies as you do with Optimus and Megatron?
Well, you've obviously studied that very well. And
Too well.
I think I'm probably speaking for Peter, but I'll let him speak for himself.
No.
You know,
You can
we've
speak.
done so many shows, it's hard to remember the exact situations like that you're staying there. But I'll tell you, working with Peter in any situation, it's really fun when we play opposites. When he's the hero and I'm the bad guy. I mean, it's just fun. But when we play heroes together, like G.I. Joe on some of those shows, remember? And various characters, it's also a great thrill. But I do like doing combat with him because in real life, he's just the best guy in the world.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Really good on that, by the way.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Are you kidding? That was wonderful. I wish we were a little bit more adept at some of those. But no, don't be sorry. That's terrific.
You know, there's an encyclopedia for Transformers. It's about this thick. And Hasbro, there's a design section at Hasbro where they design the toys, and they create them. They create the characters. And there's one guy in particular, I forget his name. He knows everything there is to know about the Transformers. And like I said, this book is that thick. So I've been back to Hasbro a couple of times, and I've been in that area, and I've looked at that book, and I was amazed how little I knew. I mean it. I mean, the history, the Cybertron part, the primes, there's so much more to it than meets the eye. Let's put it that.
And we really appreciate people like you that really understand the shows and know the episodes and know the people. I mean, it's very impressive.
Yeah,
So
if I had to
thank
write
you
an
very
exam,
much.
I'd flunk.
Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, dear.
Mr. Welker, is it true you used to hang out with Elvis?
Yep. I will tell you a quick story. Yeah, we did a film together, and for I think it was 6 weeks we worked without seeing Elvis. And he was finishing up a film, I think, and either a concert. I think he was finishing up another film in Hawaii. But anyhow, so he came to MGM to do this, and we were already running around. And they said, "Okay, Elvis is coming today. Your scene is going to be with Elvis today." And I thought, "Oh, well, we'll rehearse and everything. This will be great." I said, "No. His stand-in will be here. Elvis will be here at 4 o'clock, just before we break to go home." So there was 4 of us that were running around, and we were going to carry the suitcases up the stage. It's a little tiny thing like this that, in Hollywood, the staircases go up to nowhere, and there's just a little, it looks like a beautiful home, but you open it up, and there's nothing there but a little thing that you stand on or you fall off. So we rehearse, and we take our suitcase and go up and stand on a little thing like this. And then Elvis came. No rehearsal, nothing. I had not met him. We're like this, and Elvis is like, bell rings, pick up our suitcase, and we're running up the stairs, and I'm the last one. So I'm standing right at the door. Elvis walks in, "All right, baby, we'll see you in about 5 minutes. I'm going to go up there and take the suitcase. I'll be right back, man. Everybody be cool when I'm saying, all right, baby." So all of a sudden the door opens, boom! And I'm like this. And Elvis is right there. I mean, literally my nose is in his chest. I look up, "Hi." He goes, "What's happening down there, man?" It was cool. He looked great. It was nice. It was fun. Thank you for the question.
Thanks much. And Mr. Cullen, you're just rad.
Huh?
You're just rad.
Rad, man. I try to make my story a little shorter, but I appreciate that.
Hi, gentlemen. I'm Chad. You
Hi,
guys
Chad.
have been in the business for a while, and I was wondering if you could compare what it was like to work or the industry back in the mid-'80s versus, in the past 5, 10 years. Like, how have things changed?
Well, they've changed a lot. For example, in our recording sessions, we would all be in the same studio and working, with each other, reading our scripts. And a lot of those done today, people, they don't all record at the same time. When I did the movie with Michael Bay, I would work alone with no other people at all, except for one. I worked with McDormand. She wanted to know what I sounded like and how I said my lines to her, and as it turned out, she had to act to a boom that was way up there. She had to talk to that, and I'd just be standing beside her. but she couldn't look at me. She had to look up at Optimus Prime, who was a crane at that time. And she'd be up there, and I'd be reading my lines to her. So it's everything is it's different. It's different than it was back in the early '80s. And well, you do a lot more than I do now. So,
but what you're saying too is that the technology now is just—it's so different. You know, we used to do the flat animation, and now there's all the computer-generated animation. But as Peter was saying, we used to do the ensemble cast, and that was really a lot of fun because it's like a family. You meet everybody, and you have a great time. And now you pretty much go in and record by yourself. Even the series we do by ourselves.
All right.
Most of the time, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, but I think probably fun-wise, we had more fun when we did ensemble grouped together. Speed-wise and maybe technical stuff, if you're doing monsters or whatever, it's easier to concentrate by yourself. So it has a little bit of a double-edged sword.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hello. You guys are excellent. Your voices are so iconic.
Thank you.
How do you guys feel about other actors taking on that role and then trying to sound like you guys?
You know, it's funny. It's kind of an unwritten law in the business that we come from, and when we grew up in the business, is you just don't do that. You know, we never take over anybody's voice who can't do it themselves.
Right.
You just don't do it. But
yeah, it's grand theft. Yeah, that's happening now with Netflix.
Yeah.
They're going to produce a Transformer series, but they're not going union. And, you know, we work in our union. You know, that's what protects us all as actors, you know. And when other guys, you know, they go underneath that, and they literally are, you know, they're destroying the union from outside, and it's subterfuge. It's just, it's wrong. It's wrong. But that's what's going to happen with this series. There'll be somebody else doing Optimus Prime, and that hurts. That hurts. Yeah. Yeah, don't let it happen. Yeah. Get on Netflix. They're bad. That's not nice. Yeah.
But ultimately, we do everything for you. So you're the audience. You're the power. So what you want will ultimately be the end. So you know, you decide what you want, and hopefully it's good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. The Bumblebee movie, they hired another person to do me for during the production, and then they were going to bring me in for the one day because they didn't want to pay me, you know, for any more than they had to. So this guy worked for 3 or 4 months, and when I came in, they had actually recorded this guy, and I had to impersonate him impersonating me. And his timing was wrong, and his inflections were wrong. He didn't know how to drag a vowel, or he didn't know how to make Prime sincere. So he'd skip over the things that did, and I went, oh, this is horrible. But I had to mimic him because they had already animated to his sound. And that's why he doesn't come across all that great in the movie. The long shots I'm okay on, but the close-up stuff, if you watch that movie, you'll see I was sickened by it. It hurt. It hurt.
So I'm going to be the bad guy here. Just let everyone know that we only have about 5 more minutes or so here with our Transformer friends.
Mine is decently quick.
All right.
Hi, my name is Karen, and my question is for either one of you to answer. Actors on their resumes put down special skills, and I'm just curious, what is the weirdest special skill you've listed on your resume? And could you actually do that weird special skill at the time you listed it on your resume?
Good question.
Well, he flies airplanes, and I rope steer.
What was that?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
First, I can say all hail Megatron.
Welcome, Decepticon.
In the G1 series, really entertaining thing for me was the relationship between you and Starscream. So what I wanted to ask was, how was it working with Chris Latta? I know he's not longer with us anymore. He was also Cobra Commander in G.I. Joe, but how was it working with him?
Well, Peter will tell you also. I mean, Chris was he was a unique individual, and he put so much power, strength, energy into his character that we would look at him, and the rest of the cast is kind of cool and calm. We're just sitting here, and Chris, and he would be sweating rivers. You know, I mean, he must have had to drink at least 5 gallons of water just to stand up. But he put so much energy into his character and his face, and I mean, he was just, I'd have to say, a trip. That's, that comes to mind, that he was a trip. He was
Intensity.
Intensity.
Intensity, yeah.
But he was a lot of
amazing.
fun. We miss him.
Thank
you for the question. Yeah. I think probably we're probably at the end. So we were thinking that maybe you guys would like to see us actually read something from Megatron, Optimus Prime.
What do you guys want to see this?
So, because we're going to read this, I have to prepare. It's called Getting Out Your Glasses. Okay. You got yours? Oh, you don't need it.
Oh, my print is so big I can see it.
He's such a pain. All right. So, here we stand, leaders of the Autobots, Decepticons. We alone control the future of this planet Earth and the universe beyond. We can share the power of destiny and all of the destiny that lies before us.
Megatron, it is not power I seek. I wish only to protect this planet, and I want no harm to come to these humans.
You fool! Why throw away your life so recklessly? With Energon from the Earth and our troops, we can rebuild Cybertron and control the galaxy. The entire universe awaits us.
I will not endanger the Earth or its humans. Cybertron has shown us that devastation comes from greed and power.
Then you will be forever my enemy, Optimus Prime. No one will stand in my way.
Then one shall stand and one shall fall.
So be it. Power through tyranny.
I will never give up hope that one day we will all stand as one. Until then, Autobots, roll out!
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to Peter Cullen and Frank Welker.